Who would have thought that having an extensive knowledge of K-pop and American fast food would be so valuable when it comes to staying safe in crypto? But more on that in a little bit. Welcome to Crypto Currents, the weekly podcast where we cover everything happening in crypto currently. My name is Kale, also known as Kale, like the leaf. You probably know me as the in-house degen or trencher here at Mew and Encrypt. Our regular host Vince did the sell in May and go away meme, so he'll be out for at least a couple weeks. And meanwhile, Katya and I will be his replacement. So, with that being said, today I'm joined by the lovely Katya Michaels from Mew.
Hey, Kale. Very nice job on the intro. I like how you did kale like the leaf and not kale like the salad.
I mean, it just depends on my
You
mood.
prefer the leaf to the salad.
Yeah. And another legend in his own right, my boy Marcus, also from the Mew team.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up? So, as we all know, there is never a dull day in crypto. So, by default, a lot has happened since last week's episode. So, let's dive straight in, shall we? So, Worldchain recently announced that they are going live on US soil. So, what does this mean for you? Basically, Worldchain has come up with a system that they dub Proof of Humanity, or Proof of Human, I think. And basically what you do is they have these physical locations in real life, and you show up to the Worldchain real life location, and they have these silver orbs that you walk up to, and they will scan the iris in your eyeball. But what happens to all of that data in 30 years? Who knows? It's kind of sketchy in my opinion, but what do you guys feel about this? Is this a step in the right direction as far as proving humanness on chain, or what do you guys think?
Well, I want to give a little personal story, not with Worldchain, but regular attendees of this podcast may know that I have a pretty grown-up daughter. And there was a time when she was curious about doing 23andMe, and she asked me what I thought. And I said, when you're 18, you can do whatever you want, but I just want you to know that I'm against that sort of thing because, this data goes somewhere, and what happens to it later is a question. Like, it's one thing when you suspect you have a heritable disease and you go through like a hospital, and so I'd like to believe that their way of handling data is a little bit more subject to regulation of some sort. And that's something that you really do want to know, but doing it for fun is
definitely not recommended.
Definitely. So recently, I don't know if you guys saw this news. This was like a month ago, maybe a few weeks ago. But like 23andMe is going bankrupt. They're being sold.
No
and
way,
so,
dude.
Yeah. So like the highest bidder is gonna get all the data that they have, and like the California, I think, governor or somebody was saying like, recommending to people delete your data, but you don't know, like if you go into your account and press delete, you don't know if that does anything. Like you have no way of knowing if that that will actually happen. So by the way of this long preface, and then this was as any parent will know, is a pinnacle moment in parenting when she texted me and said, "You were right. I understand what you were saying now."
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, same with WorldCoin or Worldchain. They're scanning this stuff. Yeah. You get some free crypto. It's incredible, of course, what some people would do for like the free $5, or I don't know how much that coin is worth, whatever they're giving in US dollars, and then they have this data now. The noble reason, the official noble reason for doing this is Sam Altman, the OpenAI founder, is a chairman of this whole thing as well, is that in the future there will be so much AI online that you're not going to be able to tell who's a real person, and this like orb, this Worldchain orb thing is going to give you an identity online that will prove that you're a person, and fight that kind of like AIification of everything. I don't know. Nah. I am not. I'm not going anywhere near one of those orbs. I don't know about you guys, but like.
Yeah, no, I definitely
No, yeah.
agree with you as far as it being sketchy. I didn't know that 23andMe was being sold. My sister did that a couple years ago, and now they have my data just by default because I have the same genes as my sister. So now it's like, cool, dude. Like, I'm cooked. GG.
Yeah.
They
What are your
And-
thoughts
and
on
then-
this, Marcus?
Sorry, like Marcus, like I'm curious to hear, to hear what you think. But like the other thing is, the card, they're gonna do a Visa card that's gonna say World Code. So every time you use it, everybody is gonna know who sees you using it that you did it and that your data is in there.
Worldchain is doing a debit card?
Yeah, like they're doing
Wow.
a Visa card that there's going to say World Coin or something on it that will convert it in real time to fiat, like they're doing now with stuff. So every time you use it, people around you are going to know that your data is in there. Doesn't that seem like a security risk? I don't know. Like, Marcus, you're a
100%.
degen. Would you do it? Would you go and scan your
Oh,
eye?
absolutely not. No. When I saw them in Paris do it, like walking around with the orbs for
Oh, you
ETC, yeah,
Wow.
they came up to me and they asked me if I wanted to do it, and I was like, no, I don't want to give my
Yeah,
my
no.
biometric data to another company. Like, I don't trust anybody. Like, no, definitely not. Like,
Fair.
what are they doing with that information? Like, how does that even work?
Exactly.
Someone could just walk up to me, open my eyeball, get access to my private key. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? There's like an infinite amount of ways that it can go wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, so moving on to topic number 2. Super rough transition, but we'll roll with it. Recently, the SUI, the L1 blockchain, they've been teasing a portable gaming console. Now, Solana has done this in the past with a mobile phone, which over time didn't perform so well. But the builders on SUI seem to be taking much more precaution than the Solana builders did. Because there's a team on SUI, they go by Playtron, and they are launching a stablecoin focused solely on the SUI gaming ecosystem, which I don't think has been done before, a stablecoin focused on on-chain gaming.
I don't think so. I
No.
think that's the
Yeah.
big news. Yeah.
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 Marcus, do you have any thoughts about this?
This makes complete sense. Like, it's definitely long overdue. Like, most Web3 gaming protocols that I've seen always make their own coin, and they usually go down like 90%. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this has been long overdue for sure. Like, I'm not even sure like why nobody thought about this way before. You know,
Good point.
this could be like the start of like a new Web3 Steam type thing.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's kind of cool coming from a super degenerate gamer point of view, someone who spent like way too much time playing World of Warcraft in high school and other games before that. I totally agree. I think it's honestly inevitable. I think the synergies between blockchain and gaming are just too strong. There's things like CSGO and WoW Gold and RuneScape Gold, and every MMO has an in-game economy. And for me, what it boils down to is like time is money, basically. And people will spend money so that they don't have to spend time. And it's super common in gaming, where people are spending real life dollars to buy in-game assets that will never leave the game and that they technically don't even own. Because if I buy something on WoW and then Blizzard shuts down, it's like, well, that was a waste of money. So, yeah, I think there's like a lot of synergies when it comes to blockchain and gaming, and things like this are inevitable. So I think it's cool to see.
Yeah.
So, the thing though, like full disclosure, until today, I thought you said SUI, not SUI. That's how much I know about the ecosystem.
I've
But
heard it
now
both, to be honest.
But and I'm not a gamer, but it was always my understanding that one of the things that blockchain was supposed to do for gaming, and I don't think anybody has done effectively yet, is what you mentioned about like if World of Warcraft goes down, all of that stuff is lost. I always thought that the idea about blockchain gaming is that it could be portable to to anything else. Like you could take your assets with you because they're on chain. You own them. They're not like an imaginary pixel in a game. They're an actual NFT, for lack of a better word, maybe a different type of token on chain. And I mean, I know that I've heard a lot of people complain that blockchain gaming has not at all gone as far and as fast as people hope. Like, what do you guys think? Have you tried a lot of blockchain games? I mean, I haven't, obviously, but
Yeah, I was going to ask you that same thing, Marcus. Do you? Because I can name like a million crypto games that I'm like actively testing right now.
Oh, really? I think I've
Have
only
you tried
done.
anything?
I've tried a few. I've tried like Axie, but I couldn't get into them. Like most of them are just like too either
They
like
feel like
too
10-year-old games for 10-year-olds.
yeah like yeah exactly, or like a flash game that's like kind of a little outdated. I haven't
Yeah.
seen anything that's very compelling. Like maybe if they had CS:GO but on the blockchain, like that would actually be pretty dope.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's the biggest issue right now is like
Yeah.
gamers have an expectation of what games are supposed to be, and to create that experience on chain right now is just costs too much money. So I imagine that's why nobody has done it, but it's not impossible. I think it's just a matter of time. But yeah, to answer your question, Katya, and I guess I'm not supposed to shill, but it's not technically a shill. I am playing these games. Yeah, I think Cambria is looking pretty cool. You know what RuneScape is, right? Obviously, Marcus.
Yeah.
You've heard of RuneScape. Yeah, so Cambria is kind of like RuneScape on chain. So you can imagine what that would be like. You kind of just collect things and level up your skills, and yeah, everything's on chain. So that's
well,
super
let me
dope.
ask you this though. Like, so some people think that adoption, like with a capital A, for crypto, some people think it's going to happen with something fun and sexy, like gaming or social apps, things like that. And some people think it's going to be something like super boring under the radar that none of us are even going to notice. Like, I don't know.
Like RWAs.
Yeah, like selling ads, like ads like on Facebook, on whatever, but selling ads, but it'll be on chain. None of us will ever know that now it's being done on chain, but it's going to do. So like something very like infrastructure level, kind of boring, but that's how it's going to happen. So what are you guys like? Which side of the debate are you on? Do you think it's going to be something like fun and super visible, or something just kind of that we will find out like 5 years later? Oh, that's when adoption actually happened. It turns out.
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like at this point it'll probably be the latter. Because I feel like there's just so many different things being built that you can't keep your finger on everything, and so trying to predict which protocol is going to be like the protocol that gives crypto the Apple moment, I don't know. It feels impossible, but like my gut tells me it's like probably going to be something underground and people aren't even going to notice it. And then a few years from now, we'll be like, oh yeah, it like probably something with stablecoins, to be honest.
For sure.
If I had to guess.
I feel
Yeah.
stable because so many institutional players are coming in now and like doing whatever it is that they do with investments and with financial tools. And I feel like it's going to be one of those things that it's just going to happen. They're like, put stocks on chain, put RWAs, on chain, and it's going to be just happening already, and blockchain gaming is still going to suck.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, 100% agree.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. But anyway, reeling us back into some actually important things going on in crypto, other than gaming and boy stuff. So. Pectra just dropped today. And for those of you who are watching at home, we're filming this on Wednesday, May 7th. I guess everybody's watching this at home, I just realized. Anyway, admittedly...
They might not be at home. They might be at a
True,
coffee shop,
true
at the
that.
airport. I
True
don't know.
that.
At work. Do watch our podcast at work. It's
Yeah,
worth
we're
your
looking-
time.
You know exactly who you are. But yeah, so I don't know a lot about Pectra, as you guys are. I'm sure you're well aware. I'm not really like the builder type. But what I do know about Pectra is the ETH staking cap that users had previously is moving up from 32 ETH to 2,048 ETH. And also, EIP 7702 is being implemented, which should allow for much smoother UI and UX on Ethereum. So overall, a great day. Do you have any? What are you guys' thoughts on this?
I mean, I saw somebody say that it is the biggest Ethereum upgrade since the merge.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. And did you guys watch the merge? I have my this is my the merge screenshot
of the panda. Yep. Yep. Hell yeah, I remember that. I was watching that.
I may not seem like an Ethereum nerd, but sometimes I am. So like I did this little screenshot when Proof of Stake went live.
That screenshot's worth more than a POAP NFT.
Yeah,
pretty much the same thing.
I will make an NFT of it, but I'm sure many people have screenshots like that. Like there are enough Ethereum nerds out there. But it doesn't feel that way because it's not like it wasn't televised live.
Like the merge was.
The revolution was not televised, but yeah, I'm excited about the smart wallet thing, the EOA acting as a smart wallet, because I feel like that has been in the making for so long. And feels like some of the things like about paying gas with a different token and things like that, it just feels like it should have been possible for a long time now. But like that's the extent of my understanding and the extent of kind of my expectations of it. But Marcus is our the coder in residence, at least out of me and Kale. he is the biggest coder. Like, tell us what you think.
Honestly, I think it's a very big improvement on the Ethereum blockchain. Like, not only do you not have to wait for so many nodes to sync up to like the latest block. Like, imagine if you're trying to stake like 1,000 Ethereum, like you don't have to do it in 32 ETH batches anymore and wait for like a million nodes to sync up. You just do it in like just with one node and just wait a week's worth of time probably. Because when I used to set up nodes for other blockchains, oh my God, it would take like 3 days for the node to sync up and it'd just be a big headache. And then having to update each one. And it's just like, but now that they did this, headaches gone. This is a significant upgrade.
So the nodes moving from 32 ETH to 2048 ETH essentially means that there's going to be less nodes, but they can handle more ETH per.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I see. So it like lessens some of the friction in the back end, I would imagine.
Yeah, and also kind of services and addresses more big players and institutions in Ethereum. You know, those organizations that are staking thousands of ETH. Because, I mean, I am very sad to say that the increase from 32 ETH to 2048 ETH is supremely irrelevant to me personally, unfortunately. But I can imagine that institutions that have thousands and thousands and thousands of ETH that they are looking to do something with. And more and more, I think we see that in TradFi, though the guys who are holding a lot of Bitcoin, holding a lot of crypto, like these funds that so far have bought and held it, they want to do something with it. And I think making ETH staking easier in that way it has the potential to making it more attractive to those people who want to do something with their crypto as opposed to just Bitcoin or whatever it is. So
yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think of it in like an institutional lens. You know, this feels like Ethereum is kind of positioning itself to be easier for institutions to take part in, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that wasn't the reason, but I think it kind of plays into that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
a lot more
'Cause
user friendliness going on.
100%. Well, speaking of institutions and all of those big players and whatnot, the story we've all been waiting for. What was I talking about 15, 20 minutes ago when I brought up K-pop and American fast food?
Pop quiz.
Well, recently, a man applied to work at Kraken, the exchange, which we're all very familiar with. Kraken, being the goats, sorry, this is just so funny. Kraken, they did some due diligence and they realized that this guy that was about to interview with them was a North Korean spy. And so after realizing this, they took the interview anyway and have now published the interview on the internet for everyone to learn from.
Is the whole thing on? I only saw the clips.
I only saw clips.
And who's traveling by helicopter right now?
Damn, I was wondering if you guys could hear that. Oh, dude, there's this helicopter. It's been going over my house every day for the past like 2 weeks. I have no idea what.
Do you have a helipad in your backyard? Are you hiding things from us, Kale? Have your on-chain activities been much more lucrative than you have let on?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Bro, I got a massive airdrop.
Nah, dude, that was the North Koreans. They're coming for me right now.
Oh my god! The minute you mentioned it.
But yeah, so back on track. So this North Korean spy applies for a job at Kraken. Kraken catches him, and they publish the interview live for everyone to see. And yeah, I just think it's so hilarious. And I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this, being that we've probably interacted with a lot of these types of people without even knowing it, you know, like spies and hackers and people trying to infiltrate our company or our industry in general. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on Kraken weeding out the North Korean spy?
Honestly, it was pretty funny, especially the way they handled it. Kind of felt like, have you ever heard of the YouTuber Kit Boga?
No.
He's like a scam baiter. So like he baits like scammers, and he works with Kraken. So the way they were trolling this guy was like kind of like the same way they troll him on Kit Boga's channel.
Wow. Okay, you gotta link me that later. I wanna check that out. That's hilarious. Good.
I saw a little while. Actually, this has been a thing, and I'm like here for it. I love it. There was something I was reading. I don't remember what it was, but it was an AI thing, and it was an AI program that somebody wrote that made it sound like an older woman who has a lot of time on her hands, being kind of a little like slow, whatever, talking to telemarketers or something like that, and basically holding them on the phone for like an hour. Dragging it out so that in the end, like, they can place less calls, you know, or scam calls. That's or funny. Whatever. And it's just like an AI little lady going like, oh yeah, can you tell me more about, you know, like, or whatever it is. And I thought that was genius. And I'm just actually really into this whole trend of people like Marcus said, who are going out of their way to troll and to engage scammers, to kind of fight what they're doing and limit their reach, because if you engage them, you know, there are less people they're gonna. So I think it's very cool of them to do this and to publish this.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I am kind of irritated. I'm like, so okay, if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna be a spy, shouldn't you be better prepared?
You're like, irritated at the spy for getting caught.
What are all those like Bond movies and all of those movies that we see about like how good they are with improvising and on the spot and whatever, and they ask him like, have you got any candy around, and he can't answer. Like, I'm disappointed, frankly. Like I feel like if you're gonna do that, you should be better prepared.
It's like they don't even respect us. Like, who do they think they're trying to scam? Like 2-year-olds?
No, I mean, I know. Like, I feel like Kale could infiltrate Kraken if he wanted to, even without any coding skills. Like, because I remember when we were hiring for his position, one of the things that my colleague Vince likes to do, it was totally his idea, is on the post for the job, one of the things was like when you apply, when you send your resume, you have to, or your letter or whatever, you have to say your favorite ice cream flavor. It was buried in there somewhere. And I swear to God, like 1 out of 30 people would ever read the actual thing. And so, I mean, Kale was one of them. Was it banana, I believe?
It was banana.
I'm sorry
Banana
to
ice cream
report
goes
that it
super
was
hard.
banana, but yeah. But so yeah, so it's little things like that. But again, I feel like if you're doing this job of like infiltrating companies, I feel like wouldn't
Do
you
better.
be better prepared, like for something like
straight up.
that? Be like, I know where the city I'm from. I know what I mean. Like honestly, if somebody asked me to recommend restaurants like in Santa Monica, I would probably be like, too, because I don't go out anywhere. But
I work in crypto.
I work in crypto. I don't need out. I'm sorry, but yeah. But I think it's a really cool trend for companies and for individuals to do this, because the farther we get in crypto and internet, AI now, there's going to be more and more and more scamming. It's going to be getting more sophisticated.
Yeah.
More people are going to be vulnerable to it, because as we see in crypto, like people post things all the time being like, I've been around for a long time. I thought I was really smart, but even I fell for this, So, so it's God's work for real. Like I hope more people do that and more people post about the process that they engaged in.
100%. Yeah, I think honestly, like, modern problems require modern solutions. And if we just created an industry standard where everybody at the beginning of every Zoom meeting, every Google Meets meeting, you have to say something that a North Korean would not be allowed to say, like, I love McDonald's, or Kim Jong-un is a fat nerd, or like Taylor Swift is the best. That would effectively weed out 99% of them, I imagine. But yeah, another
Or we
interesting
can all
thing.
just sign up to Worldchain and just do World ID.
Hey,
Oh no.
True that.
No. We're not doing that.
yeah. Well, I guess that brings us to the end of our episode this week. And as my good friend Vince likes to say, I hope you feel smarter after this. You definitely look a lot more beautiful. And something like that. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. And we'll see everybody next week. Bye.
Bye, Kale. Bye, Marcus.
Bye. Bye, guys.